Did you know that depression is the leading cause of disability in the world? In the United States, more than 10% of adults struggle with depression. Join me and my co-host this Sunday live on TikTok where we will be discussing depression. We all go through it. I want to share my story with you and how I overcame depression. Welcome in. As you're hopping on, make sure that you tap the screen, please. We want to get this to at least 10K before we start. That's why I'm on here early.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. I am on live right now with my co-host, Latina Chick. We are doing our podcast. It's Sunday. Yes, it is. So today, y'all, we are talking about depression. Yes, we are. Everybody has either went through it, been through it, but don't talk about it. But we are talking about it. We're going to talk about our life experiences and things that we went through when we went through depression. This is a very touchy subject. There's a lot of people in this world that are going through it. And, we just want to let you guys know that we know it's real and we've all experienced it. So come in and join us, listen to our stories, and I hope to see you there. We might reach somebody who's going through something. You never know who you might reach just by sharing the live and letting us speak to them. Just keep sharing out the live. Whoever it is, just keep sharing. Everybody's having a good weekend. You guys are having a happy Sunday. I hope your guys' day is amazing.
Thank you guys for joining us today on today's podcast, Wisdom of Mind, where I co-host with my co-host, Christina. And today's topic is on depression. I think I posted 2 videos prior to our live video because I wanted to interact more with people that deal with depression. I got a few messages back and I hope they're in here today so they could hear that nobody's perfect and everyone goes through struggles. We all go through it. I know I talk a lot about my brother and how he passed away. This is really important to me because he passed away due to depression, anxiety, and mental illness. And if he went through all this on the outside, he looked like nothing was wrong at all. So you can see a person smile every day. You could see a person come on here every day or at work, at your job, at home, even a family member, and they look okay and they're really not. I know that feeling all too well. My brother looks so good through the outside, right? He was a bodybuilder. He was handsome, a woman magnet. He was so funny and he looked normal. That's the thing. What is normal? What is normal to you? He looked plainly normal, like if nothing was wrong with him. But at the end of the day, he was battling depression. He was battling anxiety. He was battling with demons that ultimately took his life. And once that happened, that I went through that where my brother passed away, I went into a deep depression. Nothing was helping me. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I went into a bubble pretty much. Yeah, I spoke to a few people, but I was still in that depression and my anxiety took over. It was so bad. I really thought I wasn't going to make it out, but I'm here. I made it out and I'm here to share my story with you guys. There is a way out, guys. You don't have to always be closed in. You can see a therapist if you're not comfortable speaking to anyone. There's people use yoga, right, for their anxiety. Honestly, focus on something that's focus on something that's positive. You have to, because everything wrong goes through your mind. When I was in that deep depression, I used to go home to work, come home, and just stay home and get in bed and sleep. All I wanted to do was sleep, because when I'm sleeping, I'm not thinking. And if I'm not thinking, I'm not suffering.
Right.
So I was suffering so much inside that I went into a closed in circle. I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to do anything. I drank a lot, and that's something that's, for me to open and say that, I'm embarrassed about it. It's embarrassing to say that, but that's why I'm saying there's a way out. Obviously, I don't drink anymore, you know, but that was the only thing that cured me. Like, not cured me, but it made me stop thinking. And I wanted to be asleep, and I didn't want to think anymore. I didn't want to face reality. And I'm telling you guys, you have to face reality. You have to deal with the problem. So the first step that I took was, wait a minute, I'm wasting my life. Here I am. I have a good career, good family, great friends that care about me. I have my daughter I have to think about. And here I am wasting my life away. So, with that said, I took a step back. I analyzed my whole life, and I said, I really have to get my life together, and quick, because if not, I'm going to fade away. And I was basically fading away. That's what was happening. It was a dark, dark place, and I went through it for maybe a year and a half. Now, I'm not going to say that okay, you're over depression and you don't get depressed anymore. I get sad sometimes. The other day I was sad because I mean, I have my everyday life, right? I think a lot about my brother. This is barely new. He just passed away in 2020. So, I get sad, I get depressed, I get lonely.
Right.
And I want to be able to speak to someone. And I do have good people that I speak to.
Right.
But sometimes it's just you want all that pain to go away. And I know firsthand that the pain is not going to go away that easy. You have to deal with the problem. So what I do to deal with my depression, or when I do get depressed like that, I think about happy thoughts. I think about happy things that I did with my brother, the positive outcome that he had in this world, and how I'm going to keep his legacy alive by speaking about it, by helping others. So that's how I'm going to, get over my sadness and depression.
Right.
You want to?
I know you guys, when she bring this to my attention about our subject, it was really like OSHIT because I it's a very hard subject to talk about. You know what I mean? A lot of people go through it, and a lot of people honestly cannot get out of it. It's something that goes, and it takes over your mind and your body. Now, anybody who's ever been through depression, or have ever fought through it, or been through it, or currently going through, will know it takes a toll on not only your mind, but it takes a toll on your body, your whole energy and everything. So, I mean, there's statistics where children go through it and we don't understand. You know what I mean? There's children. Even imagine, we're adults. Imagine children. You know what I mean? They go through depression because of bullying, because of things that happen in schools. You know what I mean? So it's all over the world, and a lot of it. Statistics say too, people that have depression have things that are going on, not only mentally, because it's not always a mental thing. It's something that people can go through, being with cancer, with certain things, medical conditions that come up that bring them down. We don't plan this as an adult to become mentally impaired by our disabilities. You know what I mean? So yeah, that brings us into depression. So I wanted to go with that at the beginning and talk about just that part of, it affects a lot of people in different ways, loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, a loss of a relationship. It could be, anything. You can go into depression, and people sometimes say, and I'm not, saying it's everybody, but people, when it's hard to talk to people because people automatically think you're looking for attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you're just looking for attention. Like, and so it's not that, and so that's why people with depression and are going through things don't like to talk about what's going on in their life to other people, because they just don't want to, for one, burden them with their problems, and for two, just let them have people think that you're just looking for attention.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of years ago, I mean, this is hard for me because nobody knows this, not even my kids. So even if they see this, they're going to be surprised. But I did go through a depression really bad. It was a couple years ago, and I get emotional thinking about it because I've always been a strong person. I've always been the supporter, the strong person, and I fell really hard, and I didn't know how to get back up. I didn't know how to, get my life back together in order. It wasn't alcohol. It was to the point where I didn't want to get up. All I did was lay in bed. I cried for no reason, and I'm like, why am I crying? Like, what's wrong with me? I didn't know I was going through depression. I never went through it. I didn't know how it took over my body, my mind, to where I couldn't get up. I couldn't think. I couldn't focus. And there was a point in my life, and it's sad to say, that I didn't want to be here no more. And I would ask God, like, why do I feel this? Why is this coming into me? Why do I have these feelings? Like, I love my life. I love being who I am. Why do I have these feelings? And I was like, just please help me through this. Please, and then my daughter told me she was pregnant, and I, and to me, I think that's what saved my life, becoming a grandma, because I couldn't bear to have my grandkid grow up and not know who I was. And when he was born, I would just look at him and just say, thank you so much, because you're the reason that I'm here, because those thoughts, you guys, are real. They're real. They'll take over your mind.
Yes.
And they'll take over your whole body. Even though you're not that person to think those thoughts, when they take over you, they take over you. I didn't understand why I was thinking this. I didn't understand why I had these feelings. Why, I couldn't just do nothing. It was just so bad. So you guys, I just, I took some time to myself, and it's a struggle, because I still have my days, not as bad. I still have my days.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Now I know, because when you first go through it, you don't understand the emotions that your body and your mind is taking you through.
You don't.
You know what I mean?
No,
it's a struggle, and it's a fight, and and you're fighting yourself. You're not fighting anybody else. So
yeah.
It was really hard for me. And like I said, I still go through my times, and like you said, Latina, it's the person that smiles every day and laughs every day is the one that's hiding everything. And I hit it very well. You know what I mean? I hid it in the shower. I hid it in the room. I would lock my door, wouldn't come out for days, just came out to eat. I was sleepy. I didn't want to wake up. So, and I never told anybody, because like I said, I don't want people to be like, oh, you're just looking for attention and or just burden me with your problems. So it was a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, I still have my days, where it doesn't take over me as much as it does. I don't have crazy thoughts. I'm trying to find me, and who I am, and just move on. You know what I mean? So it does take time. It does take a lot. And it does take a fight, and you have to just, fight through it. It does take. Some people, I have a cousin that, is no longer here, and he fought through depression to where he is no longer here himself today. So, I mean, some people, it just overbears them. And, when those thoughts get into your mind, believe me, it is so hard to get them out, no matter what you think about on the back end of where you came from and who it affects. And, you're just like, I just don't want to feel this way no more. You know what I mean? But like I said, I took a long fight. God bless me with my grandson to help me fight through that. And, I appreciate, and I look at him and I'm like, you're the reason why I'm still here. You know what I mean? But this was a really deep, you guys. thing to talk about, especially when someone went through it. It's a really deep thing, and I don't mind sharing it with you guys. Like I said, I'm open, honest. I share it raw. I don't practice anything. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about the day I talk about. Whatever I
Yeah.
share with you guys is what I share with you guys. So it's raw. It's not practice. I don't write no notes. So when I come on
No.
here, it's just from the heart.
Yeah.
But
That's
you know,
good that you talked about that, about, you know, that you hide it well. And that's one thing that when they gave me my brother's autopsy results, I was shocked. I was so shocked. I'm still shocked to this day that he took on so many, I guess, medication, drugs that was in his system. He was probably trying to hide his pain. You know what I mean? And he was so used to being the clown. He was so used to being everybody's support. He checked up on me weekly, you know, and I think that's something that I struggle with. And that's why I'm always saying, are you okay? Do you need to talk? Reaching out to my friends, you know, reaching out to whoever I need to reach out to. Obviously, it makes you look at another perspective in life and saying you're only here for a little bit of time. And that
yeah,
is the honest truth. You're not here for a long time. You only have one life, and you have to value it. You know what I mean? You have to value the people that you love, because once I'm in a casket, why? You know what I mean? Why come there and cry me? I'm not gonna see you crying. You know what I mean? Value me now.
right.
Value the person that I am now. Um, Give me the help that I need now while I'm alive. You know what I mean? That's why I'm always trying to give support to other people. I know how hard it is um, to be in a dark space like that. I went through it. I got out. Unfortunately, my brother went through it and he didn't get out. And that's why now I'm a true advocate for mental illness. I'm a true advocate for people that go through depression, because I lived it. You don't know what it is until you walk in somebody's shoes. And that is the honest truth.
Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm the same way. I always make sure, like, all my friends, hey, check on them. If I don't see them, hey, how are you
Mm-hmm.
doing? Are you okay? And I've been through the point where when people consistently ask you, you're like, I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about it. So I make sure that they know that, hey, I'm here if you
Mm-hmm.
need me. You know what I mean? If you want to talk, you know what I mean? I let
Yeah.
them be that one to come forward and talk. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
depression is very hard, girl. It is very, very hard. And like I said,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know, going through it and battling it was a journey. It was a journey because I did it for 3 years, and that's a long time. You know what I mean? A very long
Yeah,
time.
that is a
I
long
gained
time.
weight, so then I wasn't like, I didn't like care about myself. I was gaining weight,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, oh my god. Then that made it worse. So every little bit made it worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you get depressed about different things because your mind works, and your mind works that way. Your mind is so powerful.
yeah,
Like, I could be down and my mind could tell me 10,000 things about why I'm down, when in reality it's not that serious. Like, there's help out there. You know what I mean? Even sometimes talking to someone makes you feel better, because you're taking all that out, all that negativity, you're taking it out. And that other person is a positive person and they're telling you it's going to be all right. And in reality, guys, it's going to be okay. Every storm has to come to an end. That's how I see it. It's not going to last forever, right? It's not going to last forever.
yeah. So my thing is that I'm always been the type of person that, you know, um, that I don't always worry about what's gonna happen now. It's always what's gonna happen later. You know what I mean? So that was my thing, struggle. Okay, this is
Yeah.
now, but what is it gonna affect, and how is it gonna affect everybody else? Because once you're gone, there's questions people ask that cannot be answered.
Right.
Why? What
That's
was
my
you going
point.
through? And why did you do this? Why did and you leave your loved ones with questions that cannot be answered. You know what I mean? So my thing was, is I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? But like I
It's
said,
like
it was a fight. It was a
value the
struggle.
people
It
you
was a
love.
fight and it was a struggle. And like I said,
Hmm.
the moment I realized I was having those thoughts, I just was like, I would cry and cry. Like I was fighting that battle. It was a battle with myself. You know what I mean? And and sometimes, you lose, and sometimes you win. And it's sad
Unfortunately,
because
yes.
there's questions I know you would love to ask your brother, like why, how come,
Yes.
or what could I have done to help you, what could, just talk to me or something. But those questions can never be answered, and those were the things that I
Yeah.
struggled with every day, is not being able to let my kids have answers to the things of that I was selfish about. Honestly, that's where I came out with it.
Right. And when you think about the things that you're going through and you think like, I don't want to be here anymore, and it's better if I left this world. How about thinking about your family members that you're leaving behind?
Right.
Your kids, um, everyone that's gonna suffer a lot lately because you're not here anymore. And
Yeah.
that's why my goal is in life to have a positive outcome to everything I do. I'm all
Right.
about positivity and not negativity. So, with that said, I like to support others. And if you see me around, even around TikTok, when I'm on TikTok, I like to support other people.
Right.
Um, because it's all about positivity, guys. And you never know what someone is going through. That is so important.
Yeah.
So,
And that's in
yeah.
general in life as well too. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot of people that depression doesn't come just from that. It can come from a lot of stuff, and it starts in an
Yeah.
early age. It's not just an adult. Kids go through
Hmm.
depression, and they, and it's statistically known as, tested. There's kids that go through it that, you know, start at a young age, and
Hmm.
the age is very young. After I researched the statistics on children and their depression, the ages are very,
Hmm.
very young. And so you guys, if you
That's
guys have
sad.
children, pay attention to them, talk to them, be patient, find out what's going on, especially the ones that are in middle school, high school, because this bullying is
Oh,
serious.
gosh.
You know what I mean? And a lot
That's
of kids,
horrible. Yeah.
I've known kids in high school that that unalive themselves because of the bullying, and it's
Hmm.
caused by depression. They feel like they're not worthy of being here, which they are. Everybody is worthy of being here on this earth and having a chance at life. You know what I mean? And becoming something, especially as
Yes.
adults.
Yeah.
So um
And
pay
parents, that
attention.
start at home, please. The bullying starts at home. Like, you have to teach your children not to go to school, and only because someone is dressed down or has, beat up shoes, you don't know that person's situation. You know what I mean? Why are you gonna have another kid, like have your kid bully another kid because of it? No, that's not nice. Like, everything starts at home. Yeah, the bullying
Yeah.
is so bad nowadays. It's just insane. And
You
that
know,
causes these
and not
kids
only that, but
nowadays.
people that get diagnosed with, medical conditions at a young age go through depression,
Yeah. Yeah,
now,
of course.
and it's they're young, you know what I mean? And now they're incapacity of doing things that they were able to do
Hmm.
and no longer can do. So yeah, it gets them to in depression, you know. So, just look out for your fellow others, people. And that's all,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
basically what I'm coming down to is, look out for fellow others, love on each other while they're here, because when they're gone, there's no way of you taking that back and not loving on them anymore.
That is true. And I had somebody message me and ask me, um, are you ever gonna get over the sadness of you're not trying to help your brother, right? I didn't know he was depressed. So to answer that question, I didn't know he was depressed. I didn't know. We spoke every week, and I didn't know he was going through all the demons he was going through, right, in his head. Um, so that's why and I said this before, that's why I struggle with sadness and depression, because a week
Questions weren't
before,
answered.
right, and a week before he passed away, we were supposed to meet because he wanted to speak to me. So don't you think things go through my head like, oh my God, what did maybe he wants to tell me something and I could have helped, you know what I mean? And I pushed it off, not thinking, oh, well, he's not gonna pass away. You know what I mean? Who thinks like
Yeah.
that? We don't, our brains don't think that way.
Right.
So yeah, so with that said, I actually want to share something that I wrote is from my book. And I want to share it with you guys because it's really important. So I'm going to read it right now. Grief is like dropping ink into a bowl of water. It's concentrated at first, then slowly spreads out and is almost untraceable with time. But it never, and I mean never, is 100% gone. There will always be black ink swimming in your heart. The ink will reappear when you least expect it, staining events, memories, and quiet moments. My brother didn't want to die. That hurts the most. He was sad. He was sick. He needed help. The smallest of interventions could have changed the course of our lives, but it wasn't meant to be. So that's from my book, and that's exactly how I feel. There could have been an intervention for him. It wasn't meant to be. But there's time for you guys. Whoever's going through it can honestly, there's help out there. Please, if you need someone, if you're depressed about something, you need to talk to someone. I'm here for you as a friend, as an advocate of mental illness. I'm definitely here for you. I want to also read a little bit more. Writing this book has been my therapy. I go back to my book all the time because it makes me think good things about my brother, but it also puts me back where he didn't have to die. You know what I mean? So the tears that spilled from me as I wrote it were painful, but they were also cleansing, meaning it was also therapeutic for me writing this book. It took me 3 years to write it. And it's very small, the book, maybe 30 pages. But that's how long it took me, because every time I would stop, I would write something, I would just go into a depression and be like, I can't do this, like not right now. So it's been a way to relive times with him and find closure from the death of a man I loved so deeply. So I hope with my story and with Christina's story and with millions of stories that are out there, that you can find peace within yourself, that you can find help if you're going through something, and know that there's a way out. I cry all the time about it. Sometimes it's really dark moments for me, and sometimes I'm crying because I'm reliving those good memories with my brother. My brother knew I loved him very much, and I know that he loved me very much, and also our other two sisters. So, even though I went through this, no one else has to go through it. You guys could reach out to your family members, to your brothers, to your sisters, to your friends. There's people here on TikTok going through so much things, and this is an outlet for them. They come up and they chit chat and they play around, and you never know what's going on behind that screen. You really don't.
3 years that I went through was a long time. So I also go through have people on TikTok actually, they talk to and they tell me, things that they're going through, and I try to be there for them as a friend and as an advocate. You know what I mean? That's the only thing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Family, and let them know you love them, because when they're gone, it's way too late. You know what I mean? You can't just go back and say, hey, remember me, I love you. But
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't hear.
I know that I've lost a person in my life that was my cousin, that we were close together, and it took a while. It took a while for me to get over it. It does take a while. And then I just had to realize, life went on, and I wish he was here today to see my kids. My other two kids, he only got to see two, so he didn't get to see two. Now I got four, I have four, and I got grandkids. I would love to have shared that with him and let him be a part of that. You know what I mean? But I don't take away the fact that I keep him everywhere. If pictures of us everywhere, I keep his memory alive, and that's the best thing I could do, is keep his memory alive in my heart and my spirit. And it makes me not sad to know that he's no longer here. Just especially when I went through depression, especially when I went through hard times, I wish he was here, because he was my other half. We were half and half. He was the other half, and he was a rock that I've always had. And then not to have it all of a sudden was, it was rough. It was rough. So when I used to go through my things, I wrote some poems. One day I'll share them with you guys. But yeah, and there's just a couple of them, and it was one about him, and one was about me finding myself out of depression. So one day I'll share them with you guys.
Yeah, that'll be great to share with everyone. Yeah, you guys have to know that once they're gone, once someone is gone, there's no turning back. There's no like, oh wait, I still have so many things to say, right? Sometimes I get into my feelings and I'm like, I wish heaven had visiting hours, right? Because I can go and visit my brother and ask him, why did you do that? Like, why didn't you reach out to me sooner? Why didn't you reach out to any of our other two sisters? But I can't do that because he's gone and he's never coming back. And until I'm in heaven, then that's when I'll be able to ask him why, But until then, I have to live with that, and I have to live with that pain. I always say the pain is not gonna get any easier. It just doesn't. It's not gonna go away. It's just gonna get a little, not even easy. It's just gonna adapt. I'm gonna adapt with the pain as time goes on, but it's never gonna go away, and I'm aware of that.
What's so hard is, from a person that had those deep, dark thoughts, I'm pretty sure he didn't even know why he wanted to do what he wanted to do, or anybody wanted to do what they wanted to do. It is a dark area, you guys, that it's like hard to explain to anybody. You know what I mean? So, and then, the thoughts are there, and it's too late. Once you do it, it's too late. There's not saying, okay, I changed my mind. You know what I mean? So when it's a difficult fight, and it's a very, very, very dark space, and it's just flooding your mind day and night and day and night and day and night, and it's not because you're a bad person and this is what you want to do, and just but once we do something, we can't take that back. We can't come back and say, you know what, I changed my mind. You know what I mean? So honestly, I don't even think he probably understood what was going on with him to come to the point where it had to be that, to where he didn't, the way you explained to him, he was, the way you explained to him and talk about him all the time, my honest opinion is, I don't even think he understood why. And the reason why I say that is because you wouldn't even, like, I was in that dark space and I didn't even know why. And you know what I mean? And it took, like I said, for me to know that I was going to be a grandma, who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows? And I know that's not what I wanted to do. That was the fight. I know that's not what I wanted to do.
I just don't think that it was going to take his life. I don't think that he thought in his mind, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. You know what I mean? And honestly, I didn't even know that he did have the stuff that they found in his body. I really didn't, because if I knew, I definitely would have done something about it. Yeah. But I didn't, and that's how much of a secret he kept it. And that's the sad part, that if I knew, I could have been a help. If my sisters knew, they could have been a help. If my mom knew, she could have been, you know what I mean? Anyone.
From me coming from a person that was a substance abuser before, there's it's hard. You're embarrassed. You don't want to tell nobody about what you're doing, and you know what I mean, especially people that you love, you know what I mean? and that especially your family, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was a functional one. You couldn't even tell. You couldn't even tell, not even nobody. You know what I mean? If I was to go back and tell people, hey, around this time when I was, a substance abuse, they would be like, no fucking way. You know what I mean? No fucking way. You're tripping. You're lying. You know what I mean? So people hide it very good to hide pain. They hide it very good to, do things when they're hurt. I've had family members that were addicted to taking pills. I had family members that were alcoholics. You know what I mean? So it's different things that different people deal with in life that, come down to, and then what's hard is when you stop is when everything hits you all at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, even when I used to drink, when I stopped, I still had my problems. I still had everything that was going on with me. You know what I mean? Like, it took it away for that moment. You know what I mean? But my problems were still there. And maybe even worse because I had a hangover.
A bad hangover. But that's the problem that a lot of people don't see, that even me, myself, I'm going to put myself, right? Because I can only speak about myself.
Yeah.
But when I used to come home and go to sleep, because I wanted to be sleeping, I didn't want to think anymore. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to face reality. When I woke up, the problem was still there. I wasn't facing the problem. I wasn't facing the fact, listen, your brother is gone and there is nothing you can do about it. So either you move on and be help to someone else and tell his story, or you sit there and your life is just gonna end.
Fade away.
It's gonna slowly fade away. And so then I had to regroup myself. I worked so hard for everything I have, busted my butt to lose myself. Why? I could be an advocate for others. So, and that's how I keep my brother's memory alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But clearly, and I even thought, I'm like, wait a minute, how is this going to affect my mom? How is this going to affect my sisters, my daughter? Even though my daughter's an adult, but still, it will still affect her.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, even when your kids are adults, they still have a long life and a lot of memories and things that, that you could possibly miss out on. You know what I mean? So, no, I totally get that. I totally understand. Yeah, depression is a very, very thing, and people don't understand. Like I said, you don't understand until you do, and then when it hits you, guys. And some people they go through for years, a long time. You know what I mean? And I've talked to people that have the similar symptoms and same thing as me, especially people that I met here on TikTok. You know what I mean? They went through the same thing. And that's why I think a lot of people gravitate to some of the conversations I have with them, is because we can relate to the same things that we've been through and the same things we're going through. It might be different situations, but the same similar things. You know what I mean?
Of course, you don't even know the people that are going through some of the same things that we've been through. You know what I mean? Even I always say there's someone else always going through a worse situation than you.
That is so true.
Yeah. So even though you think that your situation is bad, obviously I think my situation was really bad. I thought I was going to die. But there's always someone that is going through a worse situation. Right. So you always, got to be aware of that and be alert, when people go through things.
Right. And it's a hard thing. It's a very hard subject to talk about. Like it is. This is why when, like I said, I go back to when you said this is going to be our subject. I was like,
I know. I was a little skeptical too.
I've never talked about it, and here I am sharing it with the world. You know what I mean?
I was a little skeptical too, because you already know, you know a lot about my private life, right? But you already know that I was a little skeptical because Christina's an outspoken person, and that's what I love about her. Love it. I'm not like that. I'm very reserved. I'm very little, so we balance each other out very well. So when I have to talk about my private life in front of the world, I get a little taken back. But I know I'm doing the best I can in sharing the story that I know that's going to help someone else, which is what I went through, you know what I mean? But that's still hard for me to come on here and share my story.
Especially when you have difficult ones. And like I said, you know, the things I talk about with you guys, I really, even she asked me, during the week, do you know what you're going to talk about? I go, girl, I'm on the fly. And that's true. You know what I mean? That's how I've always been. If I rehearse what I'm going to talk about, it's going to come out, nothing that because I say what's on my mind and I say what's in my heart, and that's just what I go with. You know what I mean? So whatever subject we talk about, I don't talk about basically, this is what I'm going to, because honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie, you guys. I really, really tried to say, okay, I don't want to talk about my experiences. I want to go with statistics, and I want to talk about, the world in general and people that go through it. And I'm not going to lie. Look at you guys. I have my papers and research I did, a couple of, and I tossed them because that's not me. You know what I mean? I need, I can't, even though they're right here, I tried to be like, I want to talk about statistics. I was going around the whole thing about talking about what I went through. You know what I mean? I was trying to get out of, just let me go on a whole different venture, but that's not me. I had to come back and just, talk about what I, and scratch my notebook, scratch my papers, and you know what I mean? I say what's on my mind. So I tried it for once and it doesn't work. So you guys got what you got.
Yeah, you get what you get. It's really unraw. Nothing is practiced here. We come on and we speak with you guys. It's very, here, like, from our experiences. So nothing is written down, or we don't have a script. Especially.
But I couldn't do it. I tried to cheat, and all week I've just been like, this is gonna be rough for me. I even kind of like teared up a little bit, like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do it, But I'm like, you know what? I don't care. This is who I am, and this is, this, you're gonna get the full whoever I am, and you know what I mean. And sometimes my story can help somebody else's, and if it does, hey, you know what I mean. That's the whole goal of us doing this, and I don't want to be uncut. I don't want to be. I just want whatever God has me saying today to talk to anybody, it's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So whatever.
Yeah. What did I tell you before we started? It's like, sometimes we have, we have a lot of people, see our podcast on YouTube, more people than we have on TikTok. But like I told her, it doesn't matter if one person is here, two people, three people. We're going to reach out to people. You know what I mean? I noticed that even going on TikTok, when you go on people's lives and they're not arguing or fighting, people leave. So people make up stuff and fight online so they could get views that's not what we're going to do here. I'm always going to keep it positive, even if I have one person in here, because my thing is to be help to someone else that's really, really going through something in real life, not to start an argument so people can come and see our lives. It doesn't matter to me. So everything is not scripted, it's uncut. And we honestly talk about it before the week, but we don't really like dwell on it, right? We
just get the subjects and okay, this is what we're gonna go with this week, and do you know what you're gonna say? Do you know what you're gonna say? And she's been nervous. I've been nervous, and she's been really, really nervous because she's always gets nervous because it's hard for her. Like she said, she's not like a outspoken person like me. So I go, I got this. But I try. Like I said, I try to cheat and take down notes and have a plan. See. That's one thing one of my kids cannot stand is that I'm on the fly. Like I can't make plans and say, this is what we're going to do today. And I'm like, wherever the wind takes me. So, I tried to I was at work and I printed out some sheets like, okay, this is the way I'm going to go. This is the road I'm going to go with statistics and let people know, like, especially with children in depression. And I did hit on some of those subjects, but I wasn't going to talk about any situation, but I don't know, maybe there was a message or there was something probably that God sent me to say. And that's what I said. You know what I mean? It was, regardless of my little tears I shed for you guys.
And, I'm not outspoken to be saying like my private stuff, like, but outspoken where I'm gonna tell you what it is. Yes, I am outspoken in that.
Yeah, she'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
What I meant is like her private life.
Right, but my private life and my story, I'm more private, I guess. But hey, if it's gonna help someone, then that's what we're here to do. Usually when
it breaks that a little bit with you too. I think, you know, learning how to have a voice, because who knows, we might be on Good Morning America one day.
You never know.
I'm just saying, you guys, I just always gotta crack jokes, but you know what I mean? But you know, and being in front of a bigger crowd, like right now we're on TikTok, yeah, that's a big platform. You know, we have it on YouTube and stuff like that. But when you're, you know, live and, you know, and asking deep questions in front of people and people in a platform where they're questioning you, you know, and you're like, you know, so this is kind of like a practice for our future. But
it is. Hey, I'm already manifesting it. Okay, this is gonna go skyrocket right now. Okay, all the people. That's why all the people that are in here, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you listening to us, because I am manifesting that it's gonna, you know, it's gonna go skyrocket.
Come every week. We have people that consistently can't wait till we have our weekly podcast every that Sunday. You know, like, oh, is it this Sunday? And you know, I can't wait to, you know, and if I tell them the subject, oh my God, that's going to be a good one. I can't wait to hear it. You know, and even the ones that couldn't make it and still want to hear it, they can still go on YouTube and look at it, because the views on there are wild, guys. And we thank you guys so much for supporting us and going on there and watching it and liking it, and, you know, and comments, because there's comments. I don't know why we can't see them sometimes, but there's comments, and we appreciate you guys so much. It means a lot to both of us. And yeah, I mean, thank you for the support. It really, really genuinely means a lot.
Absolutely. We appreciate everyone that tunes in, everyone that messages us, everyone that tunes into YouTube to rewatch it. We definitely appreciate all of you guys.
I mean, this is a great podcast, really, really deep. I thank you guys for sitting here and listening to our stories and, you know, tapping that screen. It means a lot to us. It means so much. You guys don't even know. Like she said, the YouTube is linked in our bios. I have a link tree, so every episode will go straight to when it's uploaded on YouTube. The episode will be straight on my link tree, so you don't have to go through all kinds of difficulties. Just go to my link tree, press on YouTube. It'll take you straight to the newest episode of our podcast. We will be putting registration now from now on. So some people forget. So we'll have it in our bios where you can go register. So it'll give you a notification before we go on live next, every single time we go on live for the podcast. So that will be coming up in the mix. So we got a lot of things coming up, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of things coming up. So stay tuned, you know, message us with any questions you might have, and reach out to us if you need us. We're always there. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast. She'll probably be live later on, right?
I will be live right now on my other account.
Exactly. I knew it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for watching. We appreciate all of you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off now. We'll see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Let's be kind to one another. Check up on your family. Check up on your friends. Ask them if they're okay. Do they need anything? I think that would make a big difference in someone's life if they're going through something that you don't know. A lot of us go through a lot of things that we don't know of. I know that feeling all too well. I lost my brother in 2020 due to depression, anxiety, and mental illness. Only if I could go back in time, pick up that phone, and ask him, are you okay? I think a lot of it would have made a big difference. Let's be kind to one another. Let's do better.